In an ideal world, a woman would show you clear, obvious signs of interest and signs that she likes you, and maybe even tell you that she likes you. It would be so easy and obvious and clear. Yet there are reasons why it doesn't work that way and likely never will. Additionally, it's not only men who are confused by the mixed signals of women. As you can see here on the screen, there are also videos out there for women who are confused by the mixed signals of men. However, as most men and women would agree, women are more confusing than men, because men are usually quite simple and straightforward in their interest for a woman, and it's usually much more obvious than a woman's interest in a man, as you'll discover in this video. But there are reasons why a woman does it, and as you'll find out, it's not always your fault. Sometimes it's a problem that she's having in terms of her confidence, her insecurities, or her misunderstanding of what actually attracts men. So she ends up doing something that she thinks will make you like her more, but it ends up confusing you. And for some guys, it ends up making them think, well, this girl doesn't even like me, so he gives up and he walks away, or he ends up waiting for more obvious signs of interest from her and ends up missing his opportunity with her. Or he just goes through months, for some guys it's even more than that, a year or so, where they're confused about where they stand with a woman. They can't figure it out. So this video is going to clear up the confusion for you in terms of why women give you mixed signals, where they seem to like you, but then actually they seem not to. What the heck is going on? So the first mixed signal is that even though she likes you, and it's pretty obvious that she likes you, she talks about another guy who likes her, and she seems to like him too. One of the most common reasons why a woman will do this is that she misunderstands what attracts men to women. She's thinking from her own perspective about what attracts her to a man. One of the things that attracts a woman to a man is that other women find him attractive. This is what psychologists refer to as mate choice copying, and it applies to women, not to men. And the reason why women use mate choice copying is that they have to figure out if a guy is attractive or not. And what does that mean? It means that he has the type of non-physical traits that are important to a woman's attraction. For example, an easy example is confidence rather than insecurity. So, is the guy actually confident, or is he insecure? Is he just putting on an act of being confident, or is he really confident? Right, that takes a bit of figuring out, and that's just one non-physical trait. And as a result, women use what's called mate choice copying. So women know that if a guy has other women interested in them, she will feel more attracted to him, because the women seem to have figured out that he has the non-physical traits that women are looking for. So he's an attractive guy. He's the sort of guy that women want to be with. So one of the mistakes that women will make is that they think that if they say to a guy that they like that another guy likes them, or they've got a number of guys pursuing them, it's going to make the guy look at her as more attractive. But it doesn't make him look at her as more attractive. Instead, for many guys, they feel like, well, hang on a second. Does this girl actually like me, and is she going to be loyal to me? Is she the sort of girl who loves attention from a lot of men, and therefore, if we're in a relationship together, is she going to be cheating on me? Is she going to be wanting to get more attention from other men in a relationship with me? What's going to happen? And it causes a different type of reaction in some men. Now, of course, not all men react like that though. For example, if a man is truly confident and he understands the sort of things that I'm going to be telling you in this video, then he doesn't take it personally, he doesn't panic and worry, and he sees himself as the man. He doesn't see other guys as competition. There are other guys, good for them. But it's about what's happening between him and the woman now. Is she feeling attracted to him? Does he have an opportunity to make a move, to move things forward? If so, he does that. And he gets on with it. Right? He starts having sex with her, he starts a relationship with her, and then she stops talking about those other guys. But if she's the sort of girl who, for example, he gets into a relationship with, and she continues to talk about other guys who like her, and seems to like those guys too, then okay, she doesn't seem like a trustworthy woman. However, in a long-term relationship, a woman will sometimes say that, oh, there was a guy who came up and talked to her today on the street, or there's a guy at work who likes her and is showing interest, but she's not interested in him, or she will say that such and such was flirting with her, and so on. And sometimes that is just to make her boyfriend or husband feel like, okay, he's got a woman who other men would want to be with, but sometimes it's because she wants to make herself feel good in the moment, or sometimes it's because she wants to feel like she still has it, right? She's in a relationship, but guys are hitting on her. She can feel confident about herself. She can feel good about herself. She's still an attractive woman, and so on. But sometimes, of course, it's malicious, right? She's trying to hurt her boyfriend or husband. And she is constantly saying things like that to hopefully make him jealous. And she's being a bit too much with it, right? But most guys will be able to pick up that pattern of behavior early on when they first start dating a woman and they start to get into a relationship with her. If they're getting those sort of signs, then they don't commit, right? If they've got some standards. But if a guy doesn't have many standards or he doesn't have many options with women and she's basically all that he can get, then sometimes a guy will pick up on signs like that where the woman seems to be untrustworthy. She seems to get off on the fact that other guys are hitting on her and they seem to like her, and she seems to like them too. So he doesn't really feel safe in the relationship, but he continues on anyway because he doesn't have any other options. Now, what's interesting is that there's more to it than what I've mentioned so far. So, for example, if a woman likes you and she then talks about another guy who likes her and she seems to like him too, what it can also mean is that she really does like you and she's worried about opening her heart up to you and getting hurt because she's worried that you may not like her as much as she likes you. So she'll mention another guy who likes her and she will show signs that she likes him too or is at least a bit interested to hopefully make you try harder to make something happen with her so she can feel confident that you really do like her. And finally, another reason for this is that sometimes a woman will do it because she's trying to signal to you that she's open to having casual sex with you and doesn't want a serious relationship, right? Many women do want a serious relationship. That's just what they're looking for. But sometimes you'll come across women who want to be able to signal to you that, hey, if we're going to get together, it's just going to be casual, okay? Don't develop too many feelings. Don't fall in love with her. Don't try to get her to marry you. Just have some fun for a while because she may be busy with her work or she may be busy with her studies or she may have gotten out of a long-term relationship and she just wants to be single for a while and have a bit of fun and try to figure out what she wants. And in the meantime, she really doesn't want anything serious. And she's trying to signal to the guy that she's just not at a point where she's looking for a serious relationship and she hopes that the guy will be able to pick up on that. But what happens for a lot of guys is that when they're talking to a woman and she mentions another guy and she seems to like him too, many guys get butthurt about that. Many guys feel annoyed. Some guys feel angry. And if you go and read the comments on videos on YouTube where people talk about this sort of thing, you'll see guys commenting saying, she just wants your attention, man. Like, walk away, show her, that you respect yourself and just walk away. Don't put up with that sort of behavior. And they have those sort of emotionally sensitive reactions, those naive reactions where they don't realize that it's not black and white. Sometimes the woman really does like the guy, or sometimes she just wants something casual, or sometimes she's just testing to see if he's going to crumble now if she mentions another guy because she doesn't want to repeat what she's just experienced with an ex-boyfriend. Right? So it's not always malicious. It's not always women, right, trying to manipulate men and hurt them and make them feel bad and so on. Instead, sometimes it's because of the first reason, as I said initially, where she thinks that it will make you like her more because she knows that women find a guy more attractive when other women find him attractive. So she's trying to say to you that other guys find her attractive in the hope that it will make you look at her as being more attractive. So the next confusing signal that women give to men is that she seems attracted to you, but isn't very easy to meet up with. So what the heck's going on there? Well, sometimes it's because her life is a bit of a mess, right? There are problems in her life with family or work or her own personal issues. Or she doesn't feel fully emotionally ready to date, but she does like you. And a guy commented recently and essentially said something like, he tried to set up a date with a woman and she didn't say yes to his idea for a date, so he asked her to come up with some ideas. And she didn't reply, right? How's that? She didn't reply. How rude, right? So he was getting pretty pissed off at that point. And he texted her a week later and she said yes to catching up. but she said that she was busy on the day that he suggested and that they could do something the following week. And he then replied with something like, well, you're obviously not interested, I'll pass, all the best. So he wants that ideal world, which doesn't exist and isn't going to exist, right? When it comes to male-female attraction. It's not black and white. It's not as simple as, would you like to go on a date? Yes. Let's go Wednesday. Yes. Take off your clothes. Yes. Let's get into bed. Yes. Right? And everything's just yes and smooth all the way. It just doesn't work like that. And life doesn't work like that. There are sometimes some curveballs, some challenges, some other things going on that don't allow things to go from one step to the next smoothly. It's sort of like when you look into people that have become successful in life. If you read their autobiography or you watch a documentary about them and you look into what they experienced, it's not a straight line to success. It's peaks and valleys, right? There are obstacles along the way, and that is how life works. It's not just a straight line every time. Sometimes you'll have that experience where it's just a straight line to what you want. Fantastic. But what you'll also experience is that sometimes you need to have a bit more patience, a bit more determination, a bit more understanding and compassion. And in the case of a woman who, for example, may like a guy, but she's not fully emotionally ready to date, or she has some issues with her family that have just come up, right? Something happened between her mother and father, or something happened to her brother or sister, and she's very close with them, and she's spending more time with them now, and she's not in a good mind state to just go on a date and be happy. That sort of stuff can happen. But, of course, it can also mean that the woman isn't interested in the guy at all, right? She doesn't find him attractive, and he has been misinterpreting her signs of interest, or when she met him, she was feeling some attraction, but the way that he's been texting her hasn't been making her feel attracted because he's been coming across in an insecure way, or he seems to be chasing a relationship and already looking at her as his girlfriend when they haven't even kissed or had sex yet, so he's going a bit too fast. He's putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. He's doing things a bit backwards. He doesn't realize that he needs to get to the point where they kiss and in many cases have sex first, and the woman starts to develop feelings for him before they then have that conversation about being boyfriend and girlfriend. But for him, he is so into her and he's so amazed that he has an opportunity with her that he's already talking to her as though she's his girlfriend and expecting her to behave as though she's his girlfriend. Right? He's going way too fast with that sort of thing. So it can be that. It can be a lot of different things. It's not black and white. And that's what's important to understand. Where, for example, if a guy has tried to meet up with a woman 3 or 4 times and she keeps saying no, then yes, he should stop at that point. But if, for example, with a case like this where he tried to set up a date with her and she didn't say yes to his idea for a date, so he asked her to come up with some ideas. And for a woman who's very attracted to a guy, very interested, she will try to come up with some ideas for a date. But if a woman has a low to medium level of interest in a guy and he gives one idea for a date and she doesn't say yes to that, so he then hands over the responsibility to her, she will see that as lacking masculinity. It's like, try coming up with another idea, right? Don't just give up so easily. And it links into how life works. It's not women being lazy. Instead, it's women looking for the non-physical traits that are going to make the guy be someone who is going to do better in life. Is he just going to give up that easily when he comes across an obstacle? Can he not do any more than that? Does he get annoyed if he tries to suggest something and she or someone else doesn't go along with it and just throws his hands up and says, well, it's all too hard, you do it then? Is he that sort of guy? Or is he a guy who is going to be much more likely to be successful in life and successful in a relationship with her to the point where he just says, yeah, cool, well, how about this? And he suggests something else. Because sometimes, for example, the guy may have suggested that they go for a drink together and she doesn't drink. Or maybe he suggested going for a dinner and he was making it out to seem like a serious dinner where he's going to be on a serious date with her and he's going to be taking her out and wining and dining her and hoping to make her his girlfriend, but she wants something casual. Or he just suggested having a coffee, but she's had some experiences with guys who have taken her out on coffee dates and they haven't really cared much about her or shown much interest in her, and she's starting to develop a bit of an insecurity now about guys who just want to take her out on a coffee date, right? So it's not black and white. There can be all sorts of things going on, and that's why you need to have more patience, more determination, more understanding, rather than being impatient, becoming butthurt, getting emotionally sensitive, throwing your hands up and then saying, well, this girl's just playing mind games. And what this guy then said was something along the lines of, well, you're obviously not interested, I'll pass, all the best, right? And he was emotionally sensitive, and if he goes through his life being like that, then he's going to experience a lot of problems, not only with women, but in relationships with people in general. He's going to be taking things way too personally and lacking compassion and understanding, which is just going to make him frustrated. It's going to make him insecure. It's going to make him angry, and it's not going to get him the results that he wants. Number 3, she seems interested when you talk to her, but she doesn't initiate any conversations with you, whether that's in person or via text. So for some guys, if a woman seems interested in them when they talk to her, but when they see her in person and they're walking past her, she doesn't try to initiate conversations, they see that as a mixed signal, right? Does she actually like me or not? And the same thing applies to text, right? She seems interested when they're texting, but she's not initiating any text conversation. So what's going on? In most cases, what it means is that she's a traditional woman and she's waiting for a man who has traditional masculinity. These days, a lot of guys have grown up without traditional masculine role models telling them how things actually work, how to actually make women feel attracted, how to be a man. And as a result, they are looking around them, at the world around them, for answers. And the answers that they get from the media are not the right answers. The answers that they get from women when they watch women talk about things on TikTok and YouTube and so on are usually not the answers, because most women will say one thing and then do another when it comes to their attraction for men, because they just can't say what they really want from a man because they'll be shamed for it by other women, and they also can't say it because they don't want to be giving clues to men on how to behave and then the men taking that out of proportion, right? So, for example, when women have said that they just want a nice guy, many guys hear that and they think, well, if she wants a nice guy, then I'm going to be really nice and then I'm going to get her, right? They take it to the extreme to hopefully win the woman over. So if a woman says something like, I prefer a man who doesn't look up to me as though I'm more powerful than him, who is able to respect me, but at the same time, have me feel like I'm in the one down position in terms of power and dominance. And that doesn't mean that he has to be physically dominant or anything like that, but instead, it's how he perceives himself in comparison to her. He sees her as a feminine woman, and he sees himself as a masculine man. He doesn't see her as being the same as him. And as a result, he looks at her in a different way, he treats her in a different way, and she really wants that, but she can't go around saying it because many guys will take that out of context and they'll think, oh, right, women want to be in the one down position. Okay, well, I'll show them, right? And he starts behaving in a way that is rude or disrespectful or something like that, right? He takes it too far. And that's just one part of it in terms of what women feel attracted to. They're also attracted to men who are a bit of a challenge, who make them feel like they need to impress the man and do more and be more loving, warm, feminine, lovable, likable, and so on in order to really get the man's approval. They like that. They like to have that side of themselves brought out rather than a guy who brings out a bad side of them, right? Where she's taking advantage of the guy or she's treating him badly because he brings that side of her out. And it's not always the guy's fault, of course. Some women are really bad. And even if a guy is a great guy, he's confident, he's a challenge and so on, there are some women out there who will still be a bad woman because they are a bad woman. But you don't need to worry about those women because you can reject them. You can dump them, right? You don't need to be with those sort of women when you know how to make women feel attracted. When you know how to make women feel attracted, you can choose the type of women that you want. And when you're able to attract women in the ways that they really want but can't talk about, then they are magnetically attracted to you. It's so easy to make women feel attracted because they see you as a guy who gets it without things having to be explained to him by women, right? You just get it because they can't tell you. Another reason why they can't tell you is that if they tell you the way that they want you to behave and then you start doing it, then it can seem fake. It can seem like you're just doing it to get them to like you, and that makes a guy seem desperate. It makes him seem confused. It makes the woman feel like she has more power than him. She is essentially controlling his behavior, and that's not the position that she wants to be in. That's not where she's going to be looking up to him. It's going to be where she's looking down to him, right? So a more traditional type of woman is often going to be interested when you talk to her, but she's then not going to initiate anything because she wants to see if you have traditional masculinity. Are you actually going to move things forward? Are you actually going to take on your traditional role as a man? And if you see her, you walk over and you talk to her, you get her number, you ask her out, you move things forward. Right? If she isn't texting you, you send her a text, you arrange a meetup, you catch up with her, you kiss her, you have sex, you start a relationship. Or are you going to be sitting around thinking, well, she hasn't texted me, so, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and wait and wait. Or I'm going to feel annoyed now that she's not texting me. That's not how a masculine man behaves. A masculine man just gets on with it. Right? What do I need to do here to make something happen? And then do it. Another mixed signal that women give to men is that she's hot and cold. So sometimes she's interested and sometimes she's not. What the heck's going on there? One of the most common reasons a woman will do that is due to her own insecurities and fears, right? So she is afraid to invest too much emotionally in case it doesn't work out. Right? She is trying to protect her heart. She doesn't want to get rejected. She doesn't want to feel that pain of getting rejected by a guy, or she doesn't want to invest too much emotionally and fall in love with a guy and then realize that he's not the right guy for her, because he then starts to reveal how insecure he really is, how needy, how clingy. And that starts to ruin the relationship, right? They start to experience problems and she's invested into him. She's fallen in love with him. And now she has to go through a breakup with him. And she ends up feeling like a failure when it comes to dating and relationships, right? Why does she keep selecting the wrong guys? So sometimes a woman will do that because she just doesn't want to invest too much. Right? She's showing some interest, but at the same time, she's so scared or worried about investing too much emotionally that sometimes she doesn't show much interest. And other times it can also be that sometimes the guy's making her feel attracted and sometimes he's not. Right? So sometimes she feels a bit of a spark with him because he's being confident and maybe he playfully challenges her during the conversation with something that he says, and she starts to feel like, okay, he has a bit of a backbone. There's a bit of a spark here. But then other times he's being too emotionally soppy or romantic, and she's not a romantic, right? She is feeling turned off by that. Or other times he seems insecure. Other times he seems like he's intimidated by her, and she doesn't want to get into a relationship with a guy who's intimidated by her because it's not going to work out, right? She's going to end up having way too much power, and she's going to lose respect for him. She's going to lose attraction for him, and it's going to have to end in a breakup. So from the guy's perspective, he really likes her. He wants something to happen, and sometimes she's showing interest and sometimes she's not. Sometimes she's hot, sometimes she's cold. And it's either because she doesn't want to open herself up too much and get hurt, or it's because his behavior is sometimes attractive and in other cases it's not attractive and it's turning her off. And something to point out here is that this doesn't only happen with women when it comes to men, right? It also happens for men when it comes to women, right? So sometimes the man will be very interested in the woman, but sometimes he won't because something about her behavior or her attitude is turning him off. So he's also hot and cold with her. It's not a case of it just being women doing that and then guys experiencing the problem, right? And the solution is the same for both men and women in that if a woman is turning a guy off by having a bad attitude and, being disrespectful towards him, then she needs to improve herself and stop being like that. Otherwise, he's really not going to be hot for her all the time. He's going to be cold at times. He's going to be lukewarm. And when it comes to the guy, if the woman that he likes or the woman that he is dating is being hot and cold, then he needs to be aware of how he could potentially be turning her off with his behavior. And it's often going to be that the guy is being insecure, he's being needy, he's being clingy, he's being desperate, he's being emotionally sensitive, he's giving the woman too much power. It's things like that. So he needs to figure out how to be confident and emotionally secure rather than continuing on being insecure and causing himself to experience situation after situation where the woman loses interest and then she dumps him. Or she loses interest and she stops texting back. Or she loses interest and then stops talking to him, right? He needs to figure out how to actually be confident and emotionally secure around women. And if he doesn't figure that out, it will continue to be a problem for him in his life regardless of what he achieves in life, right? He can get a better job, but if he's still insecure around women that he finds attractive, if he still becomes emotionally sensitive in relationships, then he's going to experience the same problem again and again. Some women may give him a little bit more of a pass if he's got a really amazing job, but at the end of the day, she is going to get to the point where she breaks up with him because she is in a relationship with him, not his job. The next confusing signal is that she seems to like you, but she calls you buddy or pal. When a woman refers to you as buddy or pal and is essentially trying to say to you that she only sees you as a friend, it's usually because she's feeling some attraction but isn't quite sure yet. But it can also be that she is feeling attracted to you and really likes you, but she honestly feels like you may reject her. You may be a bit too good for her. And if she invests in the relationship with you and starts to fall for you, you may begin to realize that, and you may then start to pull away or start to take her for granted or dump her. And then she's going to feel like she's just being rejected or dumped by a guy that she feels is better than her. So she is sometimes trying to protect herself by saying that. Yet in other cases, it's because she is feeling some attraction for you, but not enough yet. Right? So you are an option for her. She does feel something for you, but she's just not quite sure yet. The next mixed signal is that she doesn't open up emotionally, but wants you to be emotionally open. And that's usually because the woman isn't attracted enough yet, but it can also happen when she's someone who keeps her cards close to her chest. She doesn't like to reveal too much about herself. And that can happen because she has experienced a situation maybe with an ex-boyfriend or with one of her friends where when she has revealed a lot about herself emotionally, they've then used that against her. They've then picked on her about that or used it as power or leverage over her. And as a result, she tends to keep her cards close to her chest. And it can also be that she comes from a family who tends to keep their cards close to their chest and they don't reveal much about themselves. So she's just that sort of girl. It can also be that she's trying to find out more about the guy before she decides whether or not she wants to open herself up emotionally to him. So she's trying to find out things about him emotionally that will help her decide whether or not they really are a match for each other. So she's being a bit more selective in terms of who she opens up to. And finally, another reason is that she's just tooling him, meaning that she's just messing with him. And she is wanting to see how much he can be controlled by another person by simply asking questions and seeming to have an expectation that he should be emotionally open, but the other person doesn't need to be. So does he actually put up with that type of behavior? She's trying to figure out if he's that sort of guy who can be easily controlled and manipulated by other people. And if so, then it means that he's not the sort of guy that she's going to be able to look up to and respect. He's not the sort of guy who's going to be the man in the relationship where she feels protected by him emotionally and socially. Instead, if she gets into a relationship with him, she's most likely going to be the more emotionally savvy one. And as a result, she's going to have to be sticking up for them in social situations and when talking to other people, right? When dealing with cashiers or waitresses or hotel staff or friends or family members and so on, she's going to be the more emotionally savvy one, and he might be a bit clueless and need her help all the time. And if that's the case, then she's not going to feel like she can look up to him and respect him. And as a result, she's not going to feel attracted to him. Another mixed signal that women will give to men is that she flirts with other guys when you're around. So this is where the man and woman are not in a committed relationship yet. So she doesn't feel like she has to be 100% loyal to him yet. They're not committed yet. And she might also do it to hopefully inspire him to step up and claim her as his own. So, for example, walk up and put his arm around her like a friend would put an arm around a friend, or walk up and talk to her when she's talking to another guy and have a chat with the guy and then say, hey, let's go over to the bar, I'm going to get a drink. And he then takes her hand and he takes her with him, right? He claims ownership of her rather than standing there talking to her and the guy, and the guy is being more confident than him and he's feeling insecure, he's feeling less than, and he's sort of feeling left out now, and he's worried, he's looking at her, seeing if she finds him more attractive. Instead, a confident guy who's going to handle the situation properly is just going to walk over and talk to the guy and her, not see the guy as competition, not try to make the guy feel bad about himself or put him down or anything like that. He's just going to see him as another guy. He's not competition. What's going on between him and her is what's going on between him and her. He's just another guy. Good for him. So he's just going to talk to him, talk to her, and then when the moment's right, he might say something like, all right, well, let's go get a drink. Come here. And then he grabs her hand and brings her over to the bar. Or if it's not about a bar or getting a drink, for example, he says, let's go do this, or let's go over and rejoin our group, or let's do this, or let's do that. And of course, another way that a guy can handle it is that if she's talking to another guy, he just doesn't worry about it at all. And he's talking to other people, including women, and he's making those women feel attracted to him, right? He's the sort of guy who knows how to flirt with women. He knows how to create sexual tension. He knows how to use what I call playfully challenging humor. So women are going to be feeling sparks for him. They're going to be laughing. They're going to be flirting with him. And who's going to notice that? She's going to notice it. Women use mate choice copying. When other women find you attractive, the woman finds you more attractive. So she's going to notice that, and she's going to be feeling like she's losing something, and she's going to want to come over to you, right? So you can do that if you are able to make women feel attracted. But if you don't know how to make women feel attracted, and you're just standing there feeling insecure, feeling worried about that she might like that other guy, then she's going to pick up on that in the subtleties of your body language. She's going to sense the feelings of rejection that you're experiencing, the worry, the concern, and you may try to hide it and play it cool, but she can sense it and see it in the subtleties of your body language. Likewise, if you're not concerned, if you don't see that guy as competition, and you're talking to other people and women, and they're feeling attracted to you, and you really don't care, then she's going to pick up on that as well. She's going to see that in your body language, and it's going to make you seem more attractive than that guy. And she's going to want to come and talk to you. Another confusing signal that women give to men: she is willing to meet up with you, but not as a date. So sometimes that's because she just wants something casual. Other times it's because she doesn't want it to be a serious date where the guy is expecting now that it's going to lead to a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and this is it now. Instead, she wants it to be a bit more of a casual date just to see what happens. If there is a spark on the date, if it leads to a kiss, and then on the first date or the second date or third date they have sex and they start a sexual relationship, then take it from there. But if the guy seems like he's been coming on too strong and giving her relationship vibes from the start, where he's seeing her as his girlfriend or future wife, and she wants him to just, put the brakes on a little bit, then she will potentially say something like, let's just get a coffee instead, or, okay, let's go out and have something to eat, but it's not a date, right? She wants to calm things down a bit and let him know that she still wants to see how things go. The next confusing signal that women give to men is that she kisses you but won't have sex, and she's not a virgin. Apart from some exceptions where the woman is dealing with some mental or emotional issues regarding sex, it usually just means that she doesn't feel attracted enough to the guy, or the sexual chemistry that they have just isn't strong enough for her to want to open up and have sex with him. So for example, the guy might be quite tense around her. He might seem like he's intimidated by her a bit, and she's just not feeling attracted to that, to the point where she feels like if they have sex, it's going to feel a bit awkward. Right? She's opening herself up to a guy who isn't actually stronger than her emotionally. So it feels a bit weird, feels a bit awkward. It can also be that she just doesn't want to open up too much to the guy because something just doesn't feel right between them. Right? It's not feeling the way that she knows it should feel in order for sex to happen. It feels awkward. It feels off. But from the guy's perspective, he wants to have sex with her. He wants to get into a relationship with her. He's not worried about the fact that it feels a bit weird, it feels a bit awkward and a bit off. He wants to have sex with her. He wants to start a relationship with her. But she's just thinking, well, I'm not quite sure. So even though she has had sex before and she's not a virgin, when he tries to make advances on her and initiate sex, she continues to reject him. Now, if a guy wanted to fix that situation in the moment, it wouldn't be easy for him, because to fix the situation, he needs to be behaving in the ways that actually make women feel attracted to him, which isn't something that guys are able to figure out on their own in 1 second. It's something that guys who are naturally good with women figure out quickly and easily as they're growing up, but other guys really struggle when it comes to feeling confident and behaving in the ways that attract women. They struggle with that, and they hope to get lucky. They hope that if they're just nice enough to a woman and they present themselves as best as they can physically, then they're going to get results with women. But what they find is that the women that they really want to be with keep rejecting them. They're not interested in them because the women that they really want to be with have an expectation that they want to feel attracted to. Whereas if it's a woman that is less attractive than the guy, or a woman who is a bit weird, then she'll put up with the fact that the guy isn't behaving in the attractive ways that women want. She'll go along with it anyway. But a woman that he really wants to be with will have more standards, right? She'll want to feel attracted to, right? So if he's being insecure, if he's feeling intimidated by her, if he's feeling awkward and tense around her, she's going to start to close up. And now for the 10th mixed signal that women give to men. She doesn't want to see you more than once a week. Now, this can be due to her being busy with her career, studies, or because she's dating someone else and doesn't want to have an exclusive relationship with anyone. Yet the reality is that if she was more attracted to you, then she wouldn't be saying that. And she'd want to go out of her way to see you, even though she's busy, and even though it might only be an hour at night, or she comes over to your place to see you quickly, or she stops by, or something like that. She will go out of her way to see you because she's feeling so attracted to you, and she knows that if you're able to make her feel that type of attraction, then you're going to be able to make other women feel that type of attraction. And if she gives you too much space and isn't showing that she wants to be with you, then you might get with another woman and she might lose her opportunity with you. Yet if she doesn't feel much attraction for a guy because he really doesn't know what he's doing, he really doesn't understand how to make women feel attracted, then she is just going to look at him as an option that she is with for now, and he's going to be completely replaceable to her. It's not going to be a huge loss for her because she's not really feeling much attraction for him, and she may be busy with her work or studies or whatever it may be, and she's just going to see him whenever she wants, even if it's once a week or once every 2 weeks, and she'll be fine about breaking up with him whenever she wants, or she will replace him and leave him if she meets another guy who actually makes her feel more attraction. And what a lot of guys don't realize is that you can actually learn how to make women feel attracted to you. There are things that you can say and do that increase a woman's attraction for you, and there are things that you can say and do that decrease a woman's attraction for you. And if you don't know how to say and do the things that increase a woman's attraction, then you will experience this when you interact with a woman. She may feel some initial attraction for you for some reason, but her attraction will decrease. You'll end up saying and doing things that turn the woman off. This is something that you have to figure out in your life as a man. Otherwise, you'll continue to experience the same type of problems with women. You may initially get into a relationship, but the woman's attraction will decrease over time if you don't know how to maintain her attraction, if you don't know how to behave in the ways that actually make women feel attracted, and you end up behaving in ways that you might know are wrong. You might feel it yourself in your gut feeling. You might think, well, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be reacting in this type of way. But you keep doing it because you don't know what else to do, right? You don't know the attractive behaviors, the attractive things to say, the attractive way to react. And if you want to learn the attractive side of things so you don't experience the decrease in attraction or experience the rejections, then I recommend that you watch my exclusive lessons at Master Attraction. At Master Attraction, I teach you what to say and do to display all of the non-physical traits that make women feel irresistibly attracted to you. I have members from all over the world who are learning my attraction secrets, and this is what they're experiencing. Guys who've never picked up a woman in a bar, for example, go out and do it the first time that they try. Guys who are in the friend zone end up kissing that woman in the friend zone. Guys going on a date with a woman and they're in the pool with her, for example, and she just won't let go of them. She's so attracted. What you're seeing here is just a few examples of so many that I could share with you, where guys learn my attraction secrets, they start applying it, and they get these type of results. So many guys have been going through their life not knowing how to make women feel attracted in very subtle ways. And when they learn how to do it, they say things like, it's absolutely incredible, the way that women are now reacting to them, right? Even before the guy has talked to the woman, she's feeling attracted to him based on the subtleties of his body language because of his mindset. He's not an insecure guy anymore. He's a confident guy. And women can see that. And as a result, with what this member said, the beautiful women in the venue seem to be drawn to him. And this is what happens, right? And then when you interact with the woman, she feels so attracted to you that you start kissing her very quickly if you want to. Or if you don't want things to move forward that quickly, at least she's feeling that way about you. She wants to kiss you. So when you ask for her number, she says yes. When you ask her out on a date, she says yes, and she wants to attend the date because she's feeling so attracted to you. So if you're interested in having that type of power, then head over to Master Attraction and start learning. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video here on YouTube.